So our topic for today is to go through the fundamental base rules to work and use on a daily basis. And today I'm going to take you through each one of them in detail so you can have the opportunity of writing it down. So the circle of safety, please remember this, the circle of safety. You can draw a circle on a piece of paper and you can divide that into 4 parts. The 4 parts are your beliefs, values, needs, and wants. Now, the circle of safety is a very important Lakshman Rekha, or the boundary that you create within or for yourself. It's not going to be a 1-hour job where you can sit down and just chalk out your values, beliefs, needs, and wants. This is something I suggest you devote quite a bit of time to, maybe days, weeks, months, years. The more you meditate, the more you find what your true calling is, the quicker you will get this answer. So like everything else, nothing happens individually. It all is connected. So we call it the compounding effect or collective consciousness, or however you want to put it. So eating well, moving well, sleeping well, health, wealth, relationships, your circle of safety, all of these aspects pretty much go together. We do speak about them at different times, but essentially they happen parallel. So that's a very important thing for you to take on board. The circle of safety is your space to come back to when you may be indulged in over information, like the period we're going through now. Maybe at times when you're in conflict, not sure what to do, how to respond in a situation. So at points like this, it's very important to get into that zone of finding your circle of safety. Do you remember a time when you've not slept, or when you've had a massive hangover and you just feel disconnected, or you feel not yourself? You have a headache, you have a body ache, you just don't feel like eating, you're not in the mood to feel good. That's how over information or moving away from your circle of safety can sometimes feel. You'll feel confused, demotivated, attaching or connecting to the fear psychosis, not owning yourself or owning your boundaries or your grounding. And then this creates a whole cycle of disbelief, mistrust, etc., etc. So your beliefs, values, needs, and wants. Now, the belief means stuff that you believe in. Like, I believe I'm a good man, or I believe I am born on this earth to serve other people, or I believe that the sun rises at 7 a.m. Now, some of these beliefs might be true, or they might be scientific or logical. Some beliefs we create based on what our parents tell us, based on how our environment is around us. For example, I have a belief that my purpose is to serve other people and to make them healthy and happy. Now, how I do that service is different at different times and in different countries. So I can't take my belief system in India to Australia and hope that it works in sync. I might have to tweak it a little bit. So the way I serve people in Australia will be different to the way I serve people in India, and the way I serve people in Sweden. So that much amount of adaptability and flexibility is required for us. And especially nowadays, with the advent of staying at home and working online, there's going to be so much of long distance and cultural exchange. And because communication or words are so different everywhere, it's going to be very important for us to be very clear with the words we share. And at the same time, to be flexible and adaptable to the person or the environment we're connecting with. So write down your beliefs. What do you believe in? And make a whole list of it. Either in a different column, or if you have a circle in a different pie, think about your values. Now, what are your values? So for example, there might be certain values that have come down from generation, from your family. There might be certain values you have put in to your own new family if you're married or if you have children. So what is your value system? What are the values that are important to you as a family, as an individual? For example, I value my early mornings. So for me, my early mornings are the most valuable. So between 5 a.m. to say about 7 a.m., I try and keep no appointments at least 2 or 3 times a week. So that morning is mine, and I value that whole outcome. In the same way, I value my evenings post 5 or 6 p.m. I value the evenings being with me and my family. So that's my value system. Now comes needs and wants. So needs essentially are your basic needs like food, water, clothing, shelter, and you might have sexual needs. You might have a few other needs that you may have, maybe daily, maybe fortnightly, maybe monthly, whatever it may be. I would suggest you make columns or circles with your needs and you write them down. For example, in my case, I have a need of having my key green or the green powder, like my wheatgrass spirulina, all mixed together. It's called the green key. It's a brand called Moder that I use. I see great value, and that's a need for me to have it every morning. Because when I do, I feel alkaline, I feel balanced, and I feel like one of my meals is done, and I'm not feeling as heavy. So that for me is a need. Now we'll come to a want. Coffee. I love coffee. It used to be an addiction. It used to be a need, but now for me, it's a want. So I use coffee sparingly when I want to. I'm not at the mercy of the coffee. Likewise, a beer or a drink. There used to be a point when I used to need to have my glass of wine in the evenings, but now I don't need to. If I want to, I go for it. If I don't want to, I skip it. So that's the difference in a need and a want. So what are the 4 things we have spoken about? Belief, value, need, and want. Try and make a clear distinction between these 4 aspects. And then once you make the distinction, we can merge them together as we have a question and answer session tomorrow and a bit further down the track. So I call this the circle of safety. Very, very important. There are course notes on the chat to please copy and paste them into your notes. And or I think you can always come and browse them. I think they should stick around on this page as long as it's live. Now, the next important thing is the triad of balance. So very simple, triangle. Let me get that right. There you go. Okay, yay, I got the triangle right. There you go, fantastic. So that's your triad of balance. Health, wealth, relationships. Okay, the 3 important things for your triangle to stand. Health, wealth, relationships. Make this your mantra, because if you're not going to have these 3 in balance, you're never going to find health and happiness, no matter what you do. I have met people as clients who are extremely rich. I have met people who are extremely healthy, and I've met people who have fantastic relationships. But I've met them in singular aspects. They haven't had all 3 in balance. There are few people who I have met as clients and as friends who have these 3 aspects in complete balance. And there's such a massive difference in their outlook to life. I am on my way to creating that balance. And it's been 2.5 years since I've only been owning that space. And believe you me, I've been the happiest and the healthiest in my life. And that's my experience. I suggest you practice your own and come up with your own answer. You know how passionate I am about helping people, but I'm also very passionate about making sure that they have the tools and they find their own answers. I don't like being a parasite, and I don't want anyone else to think that my advice is going to be the be all and end all. No, my advice is a very small speck of what your journey is about. So I like to clarify that again and again, and I'll try and do that in every chat of mine. Find your own answers, go within, and go outward. When I say outward, don't step out of the house. When I say go outward, I mean go out into the universe. And if you don't know how to do that, come for one of my meditations and we'll go into super space and we'll meditate and fly with the stars and the planets and we'll have fun. Now let's move to the triad of balance: health, wealth, and relationships. Once you align with the simple thought processes that I shared with you yesterday, you'll be able to find simple answers on being healthy, on being wealthy, and on having great, balanced, healthy relationships. So let's look at each of these aspects individually. When it comes to health, wealth, and relationships, the triad of balance, there is no shortcut. Let's get that very clear. There is no shortcut. You can try eating the best foods, drinking the best water, eating the best supplements, but till you don't get yourself in this balance, you're pretty much stuck in the same loop, not only in this lifetime, but next lifetime. So what I suggest is don't compromise on your health, your wealth, and your relationships. Own that space. Now let's look at health. Health includes physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Physical health means a body which is functionally active. It doesn't mean doing a 100-kilo squat or doing a 150-kilo deadlift or doing a 20-kilo bicep curl. No, that's not the only way your body can be physically fit. There are many different aspects. There's Pilates, there's yoga, there's slow tone, there is cardio, there's weights, there's swimming, there's malakham. There's so many different aspects. There is dance. In yoga, there are different forms of yoga. So it basically means having a body which is functionally able to move. Get that very clear. What works for you might not work for me or might not work for Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's individually crafted to suit you. How do you find out which part works for you from a physical point of view? Either go within and find your own answers, or go out there and connect to the universal consciousness, or do what I did, which is speak to an Ayurvedic doctor, find your constitution, and let them be your guide till you find your own answers. Mental health, well, the time has come. We've all now got to get strong mentally because, as you can see, people are beginning to break down. And I said yesterday, this is an ideal time for us as human beings to improve our immunity, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Emotionally, the emotions you are feeling have been with you for ages, from the time you were born or from the time you were conceived. If you're feeling them now, it's because everything has slowed down, distractions are less. Of course, you have more time to go online and do your browsing and surfing, but if it hasn't hit you as yet, it will hit you very soon. That the more information you put in, the more crowded you get mentally, and the more up and down you'll go emotionally. So it's very important to sit with yourself and understand the emotions. Of course, if you're seeing a medical practitioner for any of these symptoms like anxiety or mental imbalance, please connect with them and take good, conducive alignment and decisions with them. I'm not a doctor and I don't even want to move into that spectrum. I'm simply giving you different options on how you could help yourself emotionally. So as I was saying, emotionally, things have been there. Nothing is new. If there's fear, there's anxiety, there is disharmony, it's all been there for years. So let it come out, go through a doctor, a teacher, whoever you can connect with, and let it come out and address it. The best way of doing it is to look at yourself in the mirror and imagine you're counseling somebody else, a friend or a family member. And just listen. Just listen to what is happening and you will get your answers. Spiritual. What is spirituality? Spirituality, in my words, is simply being or having the spirit. Now, the spirit could mean different things to different people. For me, the spirit means waking up and feeling spirited every morning. every afternoon, every night. And if I don't, then ask myself what I need to do to feel that spirit. What I do is I go into meditation and I try and connect with that feeling that I want. And bravo, believe you me, it does wonders every time. And I would say 100% of the times I have meditated and asked for the sensations or the feelings I want, it's happened. So there you go. Try it and you might be pleasantly surprised. It takes practice. So don't do it once and say, I haven't got it, but keep practicing it and you'll get there to the 100% mark. And if not, get in touch with me and I'll be able to guide you. So we spoke about health. Now we're going to speak about wealth. And you must excuse me, I keep looking up at my screen because I want to make sure I go in exactly the same manner that I've written my notes. Now, wealth includes not only money, it includes wealth of knowledge, wealth of health, wealth of money, and many other things. So as you're sitting down, writing what wealth means for you, try and introspect on everything that means wealth, which means abundance. So abundance of knowledge, money, love, relationships, health. You deserve to have the best of everything. And why would you not? Why would the universe not choose you and choose me? I don't believe it. If I can do it, you can do it. And when I say that, I mean believe in yourself and own who you are. Own the space you are going to create. For example, I want to own my space within a certain framework. As I mentioned, I value my mornings and my evenings. So I don't do any sessions, any coaching sessions during those times. And I'm owning that space. Even if I get lucrative offers, I calculate it and I say, no, this is my time. I'm owning it and I'm going to own it. And believe you me, it's been only 2.5 years since I've owned what I have said. And I'm the happiest, the healthiest, and I've made the most amount of money in this time. So I don't know what the formula is. It's as simple as that. Relationships. Relationships start with ourselves, with me, and then it moves on to everybody else. But it doesn't have to be first me, then you. It can be in unison or together, in a circle or in sync. For example, once you meditate, once you understand yourself, once you fall in love with yourself, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, then you just become love. So however and whoever you connect with will happen from that space. And as you know, when you're in this completely happy space, people just get attracted to you. Things just come to you. You don't even need to make an intention. You move away from the shackles of making your intentions. You just live life and it just happens. And that's the power of understanding yourself and having the best relationship with yourself. So relationship to yourself, relationship to your loved ones, to your family, to your friends, to your community, to your work people, to everyone and anyone around you. It doesn't mean you don't have your moods or your emotions. It happens, but don't get stuck to it. Try and keep coming back to your true self. And as I said, I believe that human beings are smart, human beings are loving, and they have all their answers. All they need is the environment to express themselves. And that's one of the biggest reasons I'm bringing this to you, is to help you create an environment within your home so you can own that space every hour. Now, once we finish the 21 days, that hour can be split into 2 half-an hours, morning and evening, or 4 15 minutes, morning, late morning, afternoon, evening, night, and vice versa. So we've just completed the Triad of Balance. Now we are going to look at the wellness circle. The wellness circle. Eat well, move well, sleep well. Eating well does not mean going on a diet, does not mean having high protein, does not mean having high fat. It simply means eating with intention, eating with the right mindset, chewing your food properly, feeling the sensations, the taste through your body, and enjoying the food for what it is. It's that simple. Once you achieve that state of being, you will be able to eat anything you want, and that food you eat will not stick to your body because your intention will be clean. Let me take you a step further. Once your intention is clean and you master it up to a point, you won't make the wrong food choices. You will automatically be able to sense the energy of each food and what you need for that day. And you don't need to be a master to achieve this. You just need to practice your meditation on a daily basis and you will get your answers. So eating well, first step is to change the way we perceive food. That's the most important. Then the next step is to take control of the foods that suit you. And the third step is to regulate your food to suit your goal. For example, if you're a bodybuilder, you're going to have to eat based on the bodybuilder. But if you're a normal 9-to-5 office worker who just wants to stay fit and you're following a bodybuilder's diet, well, it's like giving a Formula One fuel to a normal road car. It's just like pointless. So be careful with what you ask for. For example, most personal training and most fitness magazines give you protocols of what bodybuilders are doing. 80% of people who go to the gym don't want to be bodybuilders. They just want to be fit. But they haven't been able to express themselves because, first of all, the information they read is disjointed. And secondly, they think that is the reality of fitness is. So I encourage you to be clear on who you are, what you want to do, and based on that, eat what works for you. For example, I don't eat meat, fish, eggs, chicken on a daily basis. I say I am 80% vegetarian, which means I will eat it as and when my body requires it. I don't crave it and I don't make a fuss about it because there's no need to make a fuss. Yes, there is another ethical question about ill-treating of animals. Who's talking about ill-treating plants? So if you're eating plants as much as you're eating animals, I don't think you can stand and say that you're torturing or suffering. I'm not saying two wrongs make one right. What I'm saying is if everyone eats a little bit up to their needs and not up to their greeds, we'll all be fine and in balance. So the message here is eat well, eat with intention, and eat a balanced meal. See what works for you and don't get too bothered about the ethical aspects of what people are talking about. Own it yourself, understand it yourself. If you feel like it's okay for you to eat an animal that has been tortured, then eat it. It's your choice, it's your life, it's your karma. If you think it's okay to eat a plant which has been tortured, eat it. It's your choice, it's your karma. If you think minimizing the amount of damage you do is important, then start eating less and everything will be fine. All your issues will go away because once you eat less and appropriately to suit you, 50 to 60% of problems get wiped out. And I talk from my own experience. I used to be very much into this whole bodybuilding jargon and eat so much protein, so much carbs, so much fats. Believe you me, once I stopped worrying about those things and got in touch with what I really need, I'm feeling the happiest and the healthiest and the strongest I've ever been. So there you go. Example in front of you. I encourage you to do the same. Move well. How very important is moving well? 30 minutes a day is the protocol that people are prophesizing nowadays. I say minimum 30 minutes, ideally 3 hours of movement patterns every day. No compromise. You compromise, you get compromised results. You want good results, you follow the protocol. And what is 3 hours in 24 hours? Nothing. 1.5 hours in the morning, 1.5 hours in the evening, or 1 hour in the morning, half an hour during lunch, and 1 hour in the evening. That's 2.5 hours, and do 15-minute schedule somewhere in the middle. If you're going to the office, take a toilet break, go into the toilet, sit there for 15 minutes and do some meditation. Or negotiate with your boss and say, listen, can I have 15 minutes during my breakfast and lunch where I can do some breathing and some meditation? And believe you me, once you start doing it, you'll be more efficient. And the 15 minutes and 15 minutes break that you take, which is a total of half an hour, you will make that up in no time. You'll be so efficient that you'll be ahead of the curve. So try that. So moving well for 3 hours, do a combination of Pilates, yoga, stretches. What else can you do? Some movement patterns. Some of you CrossFit guys can go do some CrossFit if you want. There's so much to do. The slow tone, there is animal flow. I mean, there's innumerable amount of programs there, enough to keep you busy for the whole year. So go ahead and try things out. If you have a special condition, of course, go through your physio, your healthcare practitioner, and have a well-curated program for yourself. Now, let's talk about sleep well. As usual, there's so much information out there about sleeping 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. So much pressure. What's the point? Your sleeping patterns will change on a daily basis based on the weather, based on what you eat, what you drink, your thought processes, your emotions, the spiritual connection. There's so many factors that happen around you. So I don't think it's fair to make a box of saying you must sleep for 8 hours. Not only is it fair, but it's wrong. And I say it's wrong because scientific data and evidence is done on, say, 1% of the population. If it's done on 1%, how can you speak for 99%? So that's my first point. Secondly, most of the data that comes out is not even authentic scientific data. It's just some marketing material put together and pushed onto you, and you nicely absorb it. So the question is it the corporations and companies and governments that are giving you the information? Or is it something that your consciousness has tuned into and they're simply giving you what you want? That's something to introspect on. Remember, when you point a finger at somebody, all the other fingers are pointing back at you. So take ownership of where you are, and let's put that ownership into the sleep patterns. Sleeping 8 hours from 9 o'clock onwards in the night or 11 o'clock in the night are different. If you sleep 8 hours, or let's put it this way, if you sleep at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., you will get far superior 8 hours as opposed to sleeping at 11 p.m. All the more, if you sleep at 9 p.m., most of the times you'll be up by 3 or 4 in the morning automatically, and you'll wake up feeling refreshed and alive. So I would encourage you on your weekends to try that, to try getting into bed with eyes closed by 9 or 10 p.m. and see the difference you feel next morning. It'll be unbelievable. You won't even need 8 hours. You'll just feel like a different person. And you'll feel so different that it'll take you time to actually get used to that new sensation of yours. So sleep as much as you need. Don't be governed by guidelines all the time. Have a base, but find what works for you. So eat well, move well, sleep well. Very, very important. And we call it the wellness circle.